Okay, so on to our first company, and this next company has had a taste of award success already, winning Best Partnership Pub Company. It is Sheperd Neame, Britain's oldest brewer, and the name behind Spitfire, which of course is very relevant this week. Jonathan Neame is the chief executive, and he joins us now. A warm welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you. Good morning. And thank you for the opportunity to present our company. I've got a few slides here and I will run through them fairly quickly. Hopefully the name of the company, or at least some of our beers, are reasonably well known to some of the people on this call. But if we can move to the next slide. We are an independent business with a strong family involvement. We've got about 50% family interest, 50% private retail investors or small investors through the Aquis Exchange. We are an ancient company with a unique heritage, one of only 20 companies that are founded pre-1700. Our origins go back to 1147, but this is not a history lesson. The reason for mentioning this is that the reason we survive is that we are actually very good at adapting to change. And this has been a period of immense change in the market. We can go on to the next slide, please. Just a quick snapshot of our numbers. Prior to the pandemic, we had grown our net assets per share and our dividend per share every year, year on year, for 50 years. And that was a trajectory that we felt comfortable that we could continue to do, never knocking the lights out, but always showing great resilience and, as I say, adapting to change. Of course, the pandemic interrupted all that. We had to stop the dividend and we took a hit on our net assets. In fact, we lost 37 million in that period. But we're now back, which I think shows the resilience of the sector. As you saw in the previous slide, if we can go on to the next slide. As you heard in Sarah's presentation, we declared last year record revenues of 166 million. So the demand for the British pub, the demand for beer remains fairly resilient and robust in the UK. Our position remains strong, though our margins have not yet recovered to where they were back in 2019. Still making a healthy profit, 13.3 million. Our year end ends in a few weeks from now. Our cash flow is very strong. Our asset base remains very strong. But of course, our battle now is to overcome some of the inflationary problems that we've had in cost of goods, energy, and of course, labour. Next slide, please. Our brand portfolio is listed out there. Spitfire has been mentioned. Other beers, such as Bishop's Finger, Whitstable Bay, are in the more conventional core ale or core lager category, but we have a whole range of specialty beers that are edging towards the more fuller flavour, greater taste of craft and small batch. This is what you're seeing in other parts of the market, and it's where there's a great opportunity in the future. We also do very well with partnerships, and we brew Singer from Thailand, which gives us the opportunity to give a great brand platform at things like the Open Golf, or indeed to get access to some very premium hotel or restaurant accounts. Next slide, please. The base of our assets is freehold property. We own 296 pubs, 85% of them are freehold, about 43 are in central London. The balance is towards tenanted pubs where we own the freehold, but the licensees are independent business people paying us rent and buying drinks products from us. We have a very stable estate, very high quality estate. If you compared the profile of our pubs with anybody else in the market, we would compare very, very strongly. A range of community pubs through to wonderful coastal hotels and some great town centre or city centre locations. Next slide, please. Our business model is, we have three different divisions. Tenanted is the asset backbone, the cash backbone. Retail is where the growth is, it's where the investment is, it's where we employ the most number of people, and it's where we invest most of our capital. Brewing and brands is our differentiator, it's our DNA, it's where our pubs can find their difference. It's a tough market in terms of profitability, but it is where the company's identity is created. Next slide, please. In terms of our strategy, very simply, whatever our touch points, we want to recruit new customers to our pubs, to our beers, online, to our visitor centre, wherever it might be. We want to give them a great experience. To do that, we need a great team of people. So there's a huge people process that sits behind our business. We have 1,700 people we employ directly, 5,000 indirectly. All of them need to know about our beers, need to know about our food, our culture, our DNA, and need to be able to give a strong service to the customer. If we get all that right, we create passionate advocates for our beer and our pubs. And if you're a long-established business that wishes to be around for a long time, then it's important you keep putting something back to your customer base, reinvesting in it, and rewarding them for their loyalty. Next slide, please. Aside from our basic strategy, we have some unique long-term drivers for growth, and that's to do with our geography. We operate in Kent mainly, but also both Sussexes, Surrey and Essex. There's 5 million people in that environment, and the predictions is that another 500,000 population will come there by 2035. The main reason for that is increased connectivity. We've got the high-speed one through Kent. We've got a huge economic development hotspot around Ebbsfleet. We've got Lower Thames Crossing coming and other connectivity. And that's before you talk about London. So within our heartland, we've already got a very strong pub position. We've got a dominant position in individual communities. And as we see population growth, we will also see growing demand for premium experiences and growing demand for authentic brands with local provenance. We think this plays to our strengths. Next slide, please. So our opportunity is to be the leading premium hospitality business in the Southeast. It's to be the leading traditional vertically integrated brewer. Many companies have split their brewing and their pubs. We still believe that that vertically integrated model is the best, and to be an authentic, family-controlled British icon brand. Next slide, please. To do this, we need to win in Heartland. That means not only owning the best pubs, but it's also targeting the Heartland hero accounts in all those micro communities within that Southeast, partnering with the best cricket teams, the best football teams, the best rugby teams, or supplying the best free houses. We already have a very strong position. We then support that with sponsorships, as I've mentioned. Next slide. We excel in service. We direct deliver to anywhere on a 2-hour drive time. We have a really excellent partnership with a company called GXO, and compared to our competitors, we always out deliver them or out service them. We also have very strong personal relationships. These are the strengths in our business. Next slide, please. Over the next few years, we're going to see a modernization of our brewery to ensure that we keep up with all the different trends, drive freshness, drive quality, drive taste, drive flavor. Beer consumption, alcohol consumption will drop. We get that, but it doesn't mean that people will not still have a craving for a great beer. Next slide, please. And sorry, I think we missed one there. But to do that, we need to adapt to new and emerging trends to be able to produce the best low and no alcohol beer or specialty beers with such as hazy IPAs we've got here. So we've got the capability to do it. We will be investing in our plant, but we're firmly committed to brewing to enable us to adapt to those changes. Next slide. Ethical sourcing and supply chain resilience is also fundamental, not only to the consumer, but to our sector. We already have got some fantastic metrics about where we source our utilities, etc., from, and our recycling. 80% of our hops are purchased from within 10 miles of the brewery as it is. But conveying that message and our food sourcing message to our consumers is also very important today and will become more and more important in the future. Next slide, please. So if we just bounce through these slides very quickly, Our whole focus in our pubs is to elevate our own beer, make sure that our beers are centre of the bar, that our team members are passionate advocates and know how to dispense them in the best condition. Next slide. We have a huge food development team trying to attract new audiences, finding new occasions, developing at the moment things like sharing menus, more menus for kids, but making sure that all those hero dishes like the Great Sunday Lunch is a key part of what we do. Next slide, please. Across our whole business, we have about 500 different letting rooms, about 250 directly controlled in our managed houses, and they are all high quality. We can always make that experience better by giving them great design, and throughout all of our pub estate, we're always looking to enhance the environment of our unique and characterful pubs by using design. All of that will add to the overall pub and hospitality experience. Next slide. And then we finally do a lot of outdoor events. Again, this gets our brand into new audiences, creates an experience where people can enjoy the brand in a different place from going to the pub or going to the supermarket. So we partner with a number of music venues or one-off occasional events. Next slide. So finally, in summary, I think our overall business is about driving a great hospitality experience. Our pubs offer that. There's a long way to go, great investment opportunities that we've got. Our beer is our differentiator. Our brewery is our brand home and is unique. And our team creates those passionate advocates. The business model that we've got has virtually unchanged over the last few hundred years, but it's the change within that business model that is the thing that makes the difference. And although there's some negative trends in terms of alcohol consumption and going out at this moment in time because of the cost of living crisis, we personally are very optimistic about our prospects in a smaller market going forward as a premium brand. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Now, I'm supposed to be objective here, but I am a camera card carrier. I do love my beer, and you've missed out the shareholder perks. There's some shareholder perks, isn't there, if people invest in your company?
Yes, there are. You get 3 different grades of shareholder card, each giving great discounts on food, accommodation, and staying in our pubs at weekends. And of course, if you're signed up to that, then we periodically do one-off promotions as well around New Year breaks, Valentine's, weekend breaks, etc., etc. So hopefully when you get involved in our company, people can see that there's a great way to connect with us in many different ways.
Absolutely. And great flavored beers as well. Now, what should any government be doing to support the brewing, pub, hospitality sector, bearing in mind we've got an election July the 4th?
Wow. How long have you got? Not long, I'm sure. But one of the problems the sector faces is that it is chronically overtaxed compared with any other hospitality sector in the world or beer production sector. We pay 7 times more alcohol duty on beer than Germany or France, for example. So it's chronically overtaxed. And now we're on a ticket to move the national living wage up very significantly. So we've moved from a sort of American level of light regulation, flexible labor market, relatively low national living wage, and we're moving to the top of the pile at Germany or France levels in a very short period of time. Now that is a problem because that's inflationary. We have no option but to pass it on. And some of the proposals coming forward to change the labor market are quite concerning. We still don't know the full details, but our sector relies on employee flexibility. And it looks like the oxygen of flexibility is being sucked away. Now, the flip side to that is that our sector wants stability in terms of its employees. It's had too much turnover of staff, and we're all furiously trying to change our business models in the sector so that we employ people for the long term. And everybody quotes in France and Germany that people join a pub, a hotel, a restaurant, and they stay there for many years. That clearly is the future. To do that, we need a great training program, apprenticeships, etc., etc., and that's what we're investing in.
Okay, so we just have 1 minute. Phil's come in right at the last minute. You have the low alcohol naughty beer with the zero alcohol market, very buoyant right now. Do you plan to capture more of this burgeoning market?
The market is buoyant, but it's also tiny. It's way less than 1%. Some people suggest that it's going to grow to 10%. Others are skeptical about that. Yes, we do intend to grow more of that. Yes, we will develop more beers in that space. And I think it will grow. But I think alcohol will still be one of the dominant reasons for visiting the pub, albeit that occasion is likely to be at the back end of the week.
Jonathan Neame, thank you very much indeed. So many questions, so many drinks to be shared. Another time. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.